Well, the role of Rugby League Cares is hugely important and greatly appreciated throughout the heartlands of the game, but it's also greatly appreciated in these surroundings as well. We're in the Palace of Westminster, and more specifically right outside the Speaker's house, the home, when he's in London, of the Right Honourable Sir Lindsay Hoyle. And we've got a chance to go and meet with him and have a chat.
I want to get through the questions. There's other people want to catch my eye, and the way to do it is not by class.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Order! Order! I say to the honourable gentleman, I will not tolerate such behaviour. If you want to go out now, but if you stand again, I will order you out. Make your mind up, and then shut up and get out. My word, I recognise that not. Come on in there, how are you?
It's
good to see you. Come on in.
Thank you very
Welcome
much.
to Speaker's House.
This is fabulous.
It's not a bad place, is it?
No. Your house in London is a fabulous place.
It's not a bad place to live, is it? You know, it's pretty good during the week. I've got to say, don't forget, I've got to get back up to Lancashire. I've still got to watch a bit of Rugby League.
Yeah.
Rugby League is, look, traditionally North West game. You're absolutely right. You know, being a Bolton fan, I've been through the misery of watching football, cricket, Lancashire, you know, the ups and downs of that. But actually being introduced to Rugby League. And when they came to me to say, look, what about starting the professional club in Chorley, being involved in those very early days, and you're right, my father was the MP at Warrington. He came in, he, you know, got watching the games, and I got this real passion, real interest in a game that people put everything into it. It's rewarding to watch, rewarding for the people who play it, but actually, you know, there's just something special about our game. My biggest problem is we don't tell enough people about it. We need people to understand this is a great game. This is the best game in the world. It's a great sport. But I've got to say, Rugby League, at its best, nothing can challenge it. But also it's the family of Rugby League that matters. And it's the family of it, whether it's the players, the fans, the people involved, is one big family that stands together. And that's why I think it really does matter. We care for each other.
Yeah, we're going to get onto that because obviously within Rugby League there is Rugby League Cares. And we forgot to mention, missing me to mention this, but you're the president of the Rugby Football League this year. What does that feel like an honour? I mean, you're the Speaker of the House of Commons, so how does it compare to that?
Look, it's an absolute privilege because I'm so passionate about the game, I believe in the game. And when I was asked, I said, well, if you want me to, of course I'd be delighted to do it. You know, it's something I've always been and wanted to be involved in, and that's Rugby League. You know, whether it's been while I've been in Parliament, always been behind, trying to make sure we've got the sport there, trying to make sure there is a voice for Rugby League. And to be president while I'm Speaker, absolutely pure privilege for me, and hopefully I can combine the two roles together for the benefit of Rugby League.
You are overlooking a sport which has a reputation, as you said, of being a family sport. And part of that is the Rugby League Cares charity that is run within the sport as well. How important do you feel that kind of approach is from this game, that it looks after it? Does it do it well enough looking after its own?
I think it does, and I think that's what we come back to. It's where I started. Rugby League's a family, and the family cares about itself, and that's who it should be. And the players recognise that there's a lot of pressure put on them. People from different backgrounds coming together, playing a very tough game. What happens? Not only during the game, but usually when you retire. It's that gap in your life, and it's about having a support network in place. And that's why Rugby League does matter. It's about the health and well-being of the people involved in the game. And I've got to say, the players, you know, as I said, they're hard people, they're tough people. Mental health affects every level of society. And I've got to say, Rugby League recognised that very early. They put the support in there, they've been there to help players who's needed it. And quite rightly, it's about seeing the signs of mental health as well, making sure that you have somebody within the club that is there. And it's that passion about the game, but the passion about making sure players are supported. You know, you get an injury, that plays badly on people. Will I get back to playing? Will I get to the level I was at previously? How long am I going to be out of the game? There's a lot of pressure put on people playing a professional game, as well as the amateur game. And I've got to say, that's why Rugby League is good. It's this family that's coming together, setting up the charity, having the support network in there, training people who can look for the signs of mental health as well, and having a champion within each club as well. And it's about the buddying up of people, putting real support in. And in the same way that in Parliament, we have the same with mental health. That's why I beefed up, really put together a health and wellbeing package to support people, not only with illness, but also with mental health. Because mental health, politicians don't want to talk about it, they don't want the help and support, and we have staff as well. And it's about doing that. I'd seen what Rugby League had done, I'd seen how Rugby League Cares, and I wanted to make sure Parliament cares in the same way for the people who work in this village. So when I look at both, I'm passionate about making sure that we are there for people.
And I'm guessing you would celebrate the role that rugby league players play in terms of promoting, especially with men's health, men's mental health, because we get this idea that big men don't cry. So when you see a big rugby league player admitting to mental health problems, I guess for a general population that helps.
It does indeed, and these are the big tough guys, and like I say, it affects them. It affects all of us. Mental health is something that we can all suffer from. We never know when, we never know if it's going to be, who is it next. And when you look at these big players, you don't expect it, but it does happen. And as I say, there's a lot of pressure put on them. And the fact is that at a peak of physical fitness, playing a game, and it could be something minor like an injury, they could be out for 3 months. What does that do to them? What do they do when they retire? It is about showing support. And they're passionate, and they speak out. And that is the key, isn't it? These big players, big forwards saying, look, I've suffered mental health. This is what's done to me. And quite rightly, they're explaining. This is not a taboo subject that we discuss after midnight and nobody wants to talk about. This is about being very open, very honest, saying, look, this has affected me, this could affect you. We have champions who have stood up and said, this is what it did to my life. This is why I'm going to ensure that I can support somebody else, that it won't affect them in the same way. And these are guys, these are sportsmen that you would never expect. But it's the passion of the game where they don't go into a corner. They're happy to come out and say, I'm going to lead from the front. You know, if you pack down, you're leading from the front of the pack. They're happy to do this on health and wellbeing, especially when it comes to mental health. And it is about big guys speaking out, saying, don't be ashamed. Do not be frightened. We are here to help. But also, I'm here to be a champion for others. I will lead from the front. Follow me. Let's get the open discussion. Let's get the passion in there to support each other. Budding people up, making sure that somebody's not left at the side. And I've got to say, don't shy away. It is not something to be embarrassed about. Far from it. It's something we've got to speak more openly about. Mental health is out there. It's got worse, as we know, the pandemic. There's been a lot more pressure than we've ever seen before. And we've got to be able to support each other.
And we talked about the communities in which rugby league is played, and they tend to be some of the tougher communities, don't they, in terms of well-being and health. You talk about areas of Castleford and St Helens and Wigan and Featherstone and Hull and even Leeds. So rugby league needs to be a leading role in those areas?
Absolutely. But it's about the passion of the game. And, you know, you begin to go around the towns and, you know, we can look at them. And you're right, you know, whether we start at Widnes, it is the game within that area. You know, that is there. And people play this game. And people have got to stand up and support each other. The amateur game's strong. Hopefully you can turn professional, you can get out of it. But it's making sure all the way through that people are supported, that people recognise what you can do to your community. You can stand up for your community. In fact, you are the icon of that community. You know, you are the champion, you are the hero. You know, you go to the likes of Hull, they play football on the side, I know, but the reality is, it's a rugby league town. You know, the passion between the two Hulls. You know, the Early Birds versus the Robin, you know, it's that passion of the crowd that comes out, not more so than Wigan, St Helens. You know, when Warrington played Wigan the other night, you know, we had a capacity crowd. But it is the champions of the game. These are tough guys that stand up for the community. And I've got to say, young people look up to them. So we've got to set the game higher and better and be more supportive.
We can't take you all day because you have a country to run or something like that. So we're going to get towards the end of the podcast right now. But just back to your role as president of the RFL. It's only a 1-year role, isn't it? I think Claire Balding, your predecessor, had 2 years because she had the benefit of a World Cup and a bit of a COVID issue to deal with as well. But you've got 1 year. When you look back at the end of your 1 year as president of the RFL, what would you like to have achieved?
I've got to say, look, I thought Claire was fantastic. She was absolutely brilliant. What a wonderful president for us to have. And if I can just do a fraction of what Claire's done, I think that will be an achievement itself. What I want to see is more unity in the game. I want to be seen around the game. I want to promote the game wherever I can. I'm here to help Rugby League. I will do what I can. You know, I have my own views on Rugby League where we should be, but it's not about my views. It's about listening to other people's views. It's about delivering. You know, and I've said, look, I want to get to as many games as possible. I'm determined to go down to Cornwall. I want to go to that outpost of Rugby League. I want to go and see it in summer. But I'm here to support, whether that's wheelchair, whether that's women's Rugby League or amateur game. We've got to make the best of this. And I'm here to support and help and hopefully give a bigger profile. You know, how you follow in the shoes of Claire, I'm never quite sure. She was fantastic. She's brilliant. And, you know, I always say, if I could just do a fraction of what Claire did, I'll be very happy.
And that mental well-being, I mean, it's already on a great course, isn't it? But I presume you want to make sure that carries on like that.
Absolutely, health and well-being matters. I want to be supportive of mental health and being there and being a champion. You know, I want to try and ensure what role people want me to play, I want to play it for them. I'm very positive and very passionate about the game, what I want to be, whatever part of the game. If I can help, of course I will.
Lindsay, it's been Sir Lindsay, sorry.
No,
Sir Lindsay.
no, Lindsay's
Right
easier.
Honourable Sir Lindsay Hoyle. No, I'll give you a proper title. Thank you very much. It's been an absolute, but thank you for the invite to your fabulous home. We're in your sitting room. I've had a sneaky look round the corner and there's a bedroom round there, but you're not allowed to sleep in that bedroom, are you?
Well, nobody would know, Dave. You know, it's like, no, it's like, you know, what a fantastic place to live. You know, first ever person from Lancashire to hold the office, 158 speaker, waited a long time for Lancashire's turn. You know, I'm passionate about the job I've got. I'm passionate about being the MP for Chorley. What I say is, what a fantastic residence I live in, but I'm still getting back to Adlington every weekend.
Yeah, quite right too. Top spinners. Sir Lindsay, thank you very much indeed for joining us today. Thanks for listening to a very special 5 Live Rugby League podcast. That's it for this week. We're back with another very soon.